Hey everybody, what's going on? It is Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a game called Nippon. Nippon is a game published by What's Your Game, designed by Paulo Soledad and Nuno Bizarro Sentiero. I'm pretty sure I said those at least 90% correct. Plays 2 to 4 players, ages 12 plus, 60 to 120 minutes. Now, in this game, there is some theme. Let me look at the theme here. Japan during the Meiji period, a closed, isolated, and feudal country, decides to change into a modern, westernized state. The empire sends emissaries to foreign nations, brings technicians and scholars from the West, builds a network of railroads, and achieves an outstandingly fast industrial revolution. The nation and emperor count on the support of the Great Four, the big conglomerates that emerge with great power and massive control over the Japanese economy. They are called the Zaibatsu, and their influence on the Meiji Emperor and importance of the fate of Japan is incredibly high. In Nippon, players control Zaibatsu and try to develop their web of power by investing in new industries, improving their technological knowledge, shipping goods to foreign countries, or using them to satisfy local needs, and growing their influence and power as they oversee the era of rapid industrialization of Japan. There's more to it, but that's the gist. It's a game about the industrialization of Japan. And the way this works is you're going to be running a company, which basically means you're going to have a player board, and you're trying to get influence out in these 4 sections of Japan of your factories to outmaneuver and out-influence the foreign conglomerates. Okay, that's kind of what you're trying to do. It's a pretty straight, I don't want to say straightforward, sorry. It's a pretty simple game to play. You're going to do 1 of 2 actions, either take a worker, a color worker, and do the action from the space that you took it from, one of the 2 actions, or recall your workers, get some income, pay the workers that you used last round, and then be ready to go again. All right. So if you want to see how all that works, you can click the link in the video description, and I played through a whole round and part of a second one, but you'll see most of the actions that are, you'll get the gist of what you're doing here. If you don't care about that, you can take a look, you can stick around here, and we'll take a look at the components. Alright, so here are the components for Nippon. First off, I really like the vibe of this box. I'm a huge What's Your Game fan, and all their art is very consistent, and I like it. And all their graphic design is consistent too, which you're about to see right now. Alright, so down here, these are all the components. Let me zoom out here. The board is huge, a huge board, but it's a cool layout of Japan. And on the board, there's these different industries here, different types of tiles, pretty good quality, nothing great. Bunch of different color workers, good action selection area. There's all the money and some extra tokens, the black cubes. All the cubes are either coal or goods. Here's a stack of factories. I do have an expansion in there as well that gives you extra factories. Player board is pretty slick. Each player gets all those. Nice quality tiles here. Bunch of influence markers. Just good quality cardboard. Player board. My only complaint with the player board, I wish these were dual layer, because they bump around easy, which is kind of annoying. But breaks down all the scoring at the end. Ships, boats, worker set area is really easy to see. The knowledge track. This thing's not great. I don't really use it for the buildings because it doesn't really help. It sure shows you what the buildings give you, but it doesn't explain. But up here, when you recall your workers back, that's pretty helpful. So I do use it for that, but overall it's not super great. And yeah, that's most of the components. There's some extra player pieces I don't have out here. The rule book is solid. It's a typical What's Your Game rule book. If you've played a game of theirs before, it's going to feel very familiar when you look at the rule book. So nothing really negative about the components other than that player rate. I wish it was a little more specific, but that's a me problem, probably. So there we go. So those are the components for Nippon. Let's talk about what we think about the game. Okay, so I've been trying to play as many of these What's Your Game games as I can, and I think I've played most of them. Most of the ones that I want to play or that I have seen. I know there's been issues with What's Your Game. I'm trying to get into that. These are the old games before all that craziness went down. I'm just talking about from a game point and a mechanisms and all that stuff of a board game that I have, not about the company and all the politics around all that, okay? So, Nippon was the hardest one for me to get, hence the reason that I just got it. Madeira was tricky, got that one, did a video. Now, finally got Nippon. And I gotta say, I watched some videos of this before, and it seemed like this one was like the hardest one to play. It just looked impossible to understand. And then I started playing, I was like, oh, this is pretty simple. You're just trying to build things and get some area influence. That's kind of what you're doing. And once I really understood what was going on, it just kind of sung to me. And it just feels like one of the easier, I almost said easierest, the easier What Your Game games that I have. It's usually like, for me, ranking of like Signori, well, Oddville, Signori as like the two lightest, and then now Nippon. And I think it looks a lot heavier than it is, and I think once you really grok the rules and the explanation of what's going on, it kind of sinks. So, yeah, I just want to get that out. Now, as far as gameplay goes, it's not my favorite to play. I will say that. I don't think the decisions are robust enough. You do kind of the same thing over and over. Get factories, produce goods, sell the goods. That's all you're really doing here. Moving up on tracks. I love moving up on tracks, but that's not enough to keep me... that's not enough in a What Your Game to keep me coming back. So while I enjoy what this game gives me, I enjoy the package, I enjoy the presentation, I love the graphic design that they do, all their boards look similar. It's probably not one that I want to play over Madeira, even Signori. I think Signori is a richer, deeper game. But it's definitely one that I think I could teach to other players, maybe introduce them into What Your Game. I've heard some people say that this is the most complicated one that they've played, which maybe my brain just clicks with this type of economic a little bit, and it didn't feel that way to me. But so maybe introducing this is not the way to go. Maybe I still need to go with Signori or Oddville or something. But for my money, this is a solid game. It's worth playing. It's worth having in your collection if you like economic area majority type games. If you like a bunch of action selections and the way you're doing those actions is really interesting as well, then this is one you should hunt down. There's a new version coming out, not from What Your Game, so if you want to hunt that one down. Looks like it's similar gameplay from what I researched, which was barely any. Or you can find this one. People are going to be offloading this one now, I'm sure, because the new one's coming out. You know how gamers are. They love the new hotness. So I'm going to give this a BGM Subs Seal. This is going to get a 9 out of 10. I know I said it's not my favorite, but I'm giving it a pretty high rating. That doesn't mean I want to play it over some of the other ones, but I think it's a quality game. Just not one that I probably want to play all the time. So a 9 out of 10 on BGG, which is a 4.5 out of 5 wrenches on an arbitrary wrench scale. That means absolutely nothing, but we like to give the games that we enjoy, and that is what I'm going to do. So that is, let me get the box, Nippon from What Your Game. I'm Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and as always, keep gaming.